Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Tuesday, November 28th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 63. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of OTB Mailbag in the second hour, and Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show at 9 a.m. to talk Saints. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome in OTB. It is Tuesday, November 28, 2023. A chilly morning here in Louisiana. Hope it finds everybody feeling nice and cozy and bundled up in the holiday spirit. It is college football championship week. It is playoff day today. We'll learn more about the college football playoff. We have some very interesting, Jake has brought to the table. I don't know where you got this chart, Jake, but a very interesting chart that we will break down comparing Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix. As although Daniels will be sitting at home this weekend, he will be favored heavily into the sports talk cycle as Bo Nix and Michael Penix are going to try to state their own case for Heisman. And after they get a couple more games, maybe, or after they get one more game this weekend, right, worth of stats, the waters may muddy just a bit. So let's look at how these three guys compared to each other with the same amount of games, right? Understanding that Jaden also played the toughest schedule. So we'll get into that. Like I said, the college football picture as a whole. The Mike Elko introductory press conference. We got contract details. We got OTB mailbag. Nick Underhill, and on top of Nick, I mean, we'll talk a little Saints as got more Derek Carr thoughts. But first, this is the first time since last Wednesday that all of us are back together once again. Jake, what's up? We got Mario back from Atlanta. Taylor, how we feeling today, boys?
Feeling good. Not great about the Saints. You know, throughout the season, we've alternated on the Spanish broadcast between saying Zona Roja and Red Zone, like actually saying it in English in an effort to bring some good luck. It worked for a while, but that went away. Suffering and pain.
I'm gonna absolve you of any guilt, my son.
Thank you.
When it comes to the Red Zone struggles, I don't care if you do Zona Roja, Red Zone, like whatever language you want to use. I don't think it's gonna matter for the abject disaster that are the New Orleans Saints when they cross. I mean, let's just extend it to the 35-yard line, right? I mean, forget about the 20. Even when they get past the 35, the wheels just completely come off. How are we feeling today, Taylor?
We're doing good. When I filled in for Hunt yesterday, you're going to be proud of me. I went an hour and 52 minutes without mentioning the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I noticed that's not the full length of the show, though.
It's not. The last 3 minutes got me.
Well, look, we got to do something for ourselves every now and then, right?
That's fair.
At least one of our teams is worth the crap.
At some point today, no. Shut up, Mario. We're not going to celebrate Taylor or the Cowboys.
Not just
not
Taylor,
going to Jordan.
Not Cowboys.
No. I'm not going to celebrate Taylor. If we do, by extension, we're celebrating the Cowboys.
Look,
Screw this man.
I do it for the people. Guys in the chat, they loved it. So
I bet they did.
I mean, there are, you are representative of an insidious cell of undercover operatives here in Louisiana of Cowboy fans. So I'm sure, there are those out there that are pleased when you go down these roads, but I ain't going to Jordan love you. I ain't, okay? I'm not happy for you at all. I hope the Cowboys fail miserably. I hope Deron Bland doesn't get another pick for the entire season and goes back to sucking, and you learn why wasn't going to factor into this year.
I hope they go check the tape and see he stepped out on the 1 yard line.
Yes, and they retroactively take his record away.
He didn't.
Yeah, but he might have.
But that's what I hope.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to say. Jake, how you feeling today?
I'm good. Woke up this morning, let the dog out. It's cold outside. I love the cold. Love the cold
Yeah,
weather.
I agree. I agree.
It's a good
Definitely
feeling.
setting the holiday mood as we head into December, boys.
It is.
What is also setting the holiday mood is it is college football awards time. And Jake sent this in the text, so go ahead and get this chart ready to go. But it's a chart that definitely does hit visually.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, all it's revealing is information comparing Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix. And it is so like what we've been saying all year long, right? If they want to win, they have to make them, or if Jaden Daniels wants to win because of losses, if he wants to fall in the footsteps of RG3 and Tim Tebow and others, he had to make himself into a statistical outlier. And for much of the year, he was not. But now that we are through the 12 regular season games, it is so painfully clear that he is. And this chart does just a fantastic job of clearly laying it out. And we'll start to break it down. But there is no doubt. I don't know if he's going to win the Heisman, but after you see this, and I know many, I'm preaching to the choir here, right? This is a very biased crowd that's going to agree with most everything I'm saying anyway. And so I will try to pontificate and bring these crowds to, or bring this chart to other crowds that we have and, spread the good word, to evangelize the good word of JD5. But I mean, you look at the numbers and it's just not even close. What do you do when a person has accounted for 1,000 more yards than each of his counterparts? And you're like, okay, well, what about touchdowns? Well, yeah, no, I mean, 50 touchdowns to 35 to 43. It's not even close. He had a nice even 50 on the year. How about that? Jake, when you look at this, how do you think we should break this down? Do you want to go stat by stat? Do you want to go by what jumps out the most to you? What do you think the best avenue here is?
Yeah, and I think for me, there's a couple of things that jump out for Jaden Daniels. And as we're looking at it, passing yards, these guys are pretty much dead even. 3,800, 3,900, 3,900. But when you go to rushing yards, Jaden Daniels, 1,100. Michael Penix Jr., -14 rushing yards, because in college football, for whatever reason, they take sack yardage off your rushing total. And then Bo Nix has 159. So even basically across the board in passing yards, all within 100 yards of each other. And then that's the rushing total. So the total yardage, that probably stands out to me as much as anything. You're talking about Jaden Daniels right at 5,000 yards, 4,946. And then Michael Penix, 3,885. Bo Nix, 4,000. You said it, T. Almost 1,000 yards in total offense, more than the next guy. And so if you want to win the Heisman, if you want to be in consideration, if you have those 3 losses, you have to have stats like this. You mentioned it. You have to be the outlier. It can't be close. And it's not close. The only stat that Jaden Daniels ends up winning right now is completion percentage, where Bo Nix has 78%. Jaden Daniels has 72%. Now, 72% is really, really good. In the adjusted completion percentage, Bo Nix, shout out to him, 85%. That's an incredible number. Jaden Daniels is at 79%. There's no other metric that Jaden Daniels is not winning. Yards per play, passer rating, QBR, rushing yards per attempt, total touchdowns. Just go across the board. NFL passer rating, plays of 20-plus yards. The fact that he has 90 and the next closest guy is 62.
Yeah.
That actually might be the one.
Cody Worsham laid it all out. He looked at I don't know, maybe like the last 10 years of college football, something along those lines, and looked at where that would rank among teams. And it was like top 5 every year. It was number 1 a few years, 2, 3. Again, just Jaden Daniels, and where his 20-yard plays would rank among teams. I think even in I don't want to misspeak, but even against something like the 2020 Alabama offense, he was either ahead of them or like right with them.
Jaden Daniels would lead the last 11 Heisman-winning quarterbacks in passer rating. He's at 208. Yards per attempt, again, this is just a banana stats, 11.7 yards per attempt. Not per completion, per attempt. Every time he throws a football, it's a first down and then some. Adjusted yards per attempt, 13.6. Yards per carry, 8.4. Total yards per play, 10.7. So every play that he's been in there, 10.7 yards. Yards per game, 412.2.
So he would lead the last
11 Heisman Trophy winners, quarterbacks in those stats.
I mean, and this is against a harder schedule than his 2 competitors for the award this year played. It's not even close. Okay, like you're going to tell me Jaden Daniels is 1-3 against top 10 teams on the road. Okay, Bo Nix is 0-1. He got one opportunity and he failed. And the difference is Jaden Daniels didn't lose you any of those games. Bo Nix actively lost you the Washington game. He spiked the pass right before on 3rd and goal, right before half. He didn't get the 4th down conversion at the end of the game that his coach trusted him to get. Like say what you will, but Bo Nix had a defense in that Oregon-Washington game that put him in a position to win, and the offense failed to make the plays. You cannot say that for any LSU game this year. But again, this is a level of nuance that people are not going to want to engage with.
Now, if we go back to a year ago, you had kind of a similar situation where Caleb Williams, he was the outlier with his stats. Now, they had a really good year, and they played in their conference championship game.
Yeah.
But Max Duggan in TCU, Max Duggan was kind of Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
And Max Duggan, he was there in New York, and he received some votes. Now, didn't win the Heisman. And so last year, you had kind of a similar situation where what Caleb Williams did individually won him the award, and Max Duggan was kind of the best player on the best team situation, which is kind of Bo Nix territory right now. So last year, the guy who went out there and had the crazy stats won the Heisman.
That's kind of funny. Bo Nix has over 1,000 times more rushing yards than Penix, and about 10 times more than Bo Nix. And okay, so here's what's interesting. If you're looking at the chart, basically everything that the person leads in is highlighted green, right? So it's almost a wall of green for Jaden Daniels. And then on completion percentage, that's where Bo Nix has it, like you said. Jaden at 72, Nix at 78. Well, where that gets interesting then, Michael Penix is the lowest in that regard. He's at 65%. Well, the only thing that Penix leads in is average distance of target and big-time throws. Well, so like that. Okay, so the correlation here makes sense, right? Penix has the lowest completion percentage because he is going for the biggest throws. But where it gets interesting is that Jaden Daniels being in the middle of the both gives you the best of both worlds. Like, what is the argument against Bo Nix this year compared to someone like Jaden Daniels? Is that it has been a lot more dump-offs, a lot shorter screen action, a lot of yards after catch, leading to that 78% completion percentage. And this backs it up. Michael Penix leads at 3 with an average distance of target of 11 yards. Okay, that's deep. That's going for it. Jaden Daniels is right behind him at 10. Bo Nix is all the way down at 7. So, of course, Bo Nix is leading in completion percentage. He's not taking the risks. Michael Penix has 30 big-time throws. Jaden Daniels has 29. Bo Nix has 17. And so even though he doesn't lead in completion percentage or this average distance, Jaden is actually still the most impressive of the three because when you combine them, he's nipping on the heels of both. Like, you shouldn't have that many big-time throws. You shouldn't have an average distance to target of 10 yards or more and still be completing 72% of your passes. So even when he's not winning on this chart, he actually is if you look at it as a whole.
Yeah, and the more that we just continue to go down this list, like I just continue to find more impressive stats. And another one that's going to jump out at you, okay? Rushing yards after contact. Jaden Daniels has 518 rushing yards after contact.
Damn, half of his yards.
Michael Penix has 24. Bo Nix has 75. How about this? Missed tackles forced. Jaden Daniels, 47. Michael Penix, 1. Bo Nix, 2.
I mean, bro.
47 times he has forced a missed tackle. The other two, and look, you're like older quarterbacks. Well, yeah, the whole argument is Jaden Daniels has the same passing stats and even better in a lot of categories, and then you throw this on top of it.
I mean, yards per play. Jaden Daniels at 10.7. Penix at 8.6. Nix at 9. Passer rating, the college version. Jaden Daniels, again, the only player in the country over 200 at 208. Penix not even close to 163. Nix not even close to 189. QBR, the much, much, much tougher grading metric that ESPN and others have adopted that is more NFL-based. And again, this shows you that they don't like how safe Bo Nix plays it. QBR, Jaden Daniels, I've never seen a QBR this high. 95.6. No. Michael Penix, 91.1. Bo Nix, 82. 82.8. Check down Charlie. And then I think this is one of the most badass things I've ever read. NFL passer rating on throws of 20 yards or more. Jaden Daniels, an NFL passer rating of 146. Michael Penix, 102. Bo Nix, 127. And make no mistake, if you talk to NFL scouts right now, it is Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then Jaden Daniels. Like, Bo Nix is not going to be drafted over him. Michael Penix is not going to be drafted over him. Carson Beck would maybe be interesting if he decides to come out. I'd be interested to see where that shook out. But, like, Jaden Daniels is the better college football player. He's the better NFL prospect, and he deserves to win the Heisman Trophy.
So what you're saying is Bo Nix checked down Charlie, better yet, before the sticks Nix?
Before the sticks Nix, yes. There we go. Exactly. Exactly, dude. Also, strength of schedule, and there's a million ways of doing strength of schedule, but every way you do it will generally spit out this same gap. LSU strength of schedule 7th, Michael Penix 46th, Oregon's 62nd. Bruh.
And that is one thing that whenever I see kind of this conversation on Twitter, a lot of fans of Oregon or Washington, whoever, talk about, well, Jaden padded his stats against Grambling and Army and Georgia State. Actually, that's just not knowing the schedule.
No, I mean, also,
you take all of that away, and the numbers are still the numbers.
Well, what pisses me off, Jake, is, you know me, I love CFBstats.com.
Yep.
And they have a million different ways that you can filter.
Yep.
You can do against Power 5 teams only, against FBS teams only, against ranked teams on the road, ranked teams at home. And any way, I've done it. Any way you filter it, Daniel still leads them in all the categories we're talking about. So, no, it is a completely ignorant take to say that they padded stats against lesser teams because it's just not true. Yeah, like it's just factually, numerically not true. So here's to hoping this can somehow break through. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Penix has a chance.
It feels like right now, if you're looking at Vegas,
yeah,
it does feel like it's turned into a two-man race. You're going to have probably 3 in New York. I'd be surprised if there's a 4th. Now, Penix could go out there in the Pac-12 championship game, and he could, have a historic night. Bo Nix could be bad.
Which would be great,
and maybe,
because I still don't think he's winning.
Right, and maybe that changes. Now, I will say this. Like, we got the email yesterday. The ballots are open now. You can fill your ballot out right now. You can turn it in. Some people do it. A lot of people like to wait until conference championship games are completed because we actually have until Monday to submit it. So depending on, when somebody submits that, nothing in the Pac-12 championship game could change their mind potentially if they go ahead and they submit that ballot. But now it is open.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is the people that would vote early, their minds are already made up, right?
Yeah.
So the people on the fence are probably going to wait till that Pac-12 championship game and then make their decision.
And I understand.
I think is flawed because
I understand waiting
I think that,
if you want to, if you're on the fence and you want to see, one last time, good or bad.
That's what I'm saying, but I just don't think there's anything to be on the fence about, And I know I'm biased here, but this is just. I mean, this is these numbers. There's just simply no argument. There's just simply no argument. Again, Bo Nix lost. The only time he played a good team, and his defense only allowed, 36, 33?
36.
36.
It was 36-33, yeah.
Freaking Chris Hilton, dude. Catch that ball in Oxford. Anyway, all right. When we get back, more OTB. We'll get to your comments next. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Community Steel Company, communitysteelco.com. Community Steel Company. Look, you have steel needs. Maybe it's for a business. Maybe it's just for some personal use. You want to go to Community Steel Company over there in Gonzales. They get the steel directly from the wholesalers. And then they make everything on site. Your purlin, your tubing, your sheet metal, your steel buildings. You can actually go tour the facilities, see how they do it. Go look at the product before you buy it. Interact with the live and local sales team. And then because at the end of the day, a lot of times this is what matters most. You save money because there's no middleman BS jacking up the price for you on the back end. Community Steel Company, they're the best. CommunitySteelco.com.
Yeah, you see the reviews on Google, 5 stars across the board, and go to that website and you'll see exactly what T-Bob and I tell you about every single day. Go see them in Gonzales, Louisiana. We love the fact that they're local. We love the fact that it says Gonzales, Louisiana as soon as you log on to the site. Call them today, 225-647-2020.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Hunt Palmer back in the host chair where he belongs. He'll probably tell us about his weekend. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on LSU's win over the Texas A&M Aggies, and he'll continue to break down the New Orleans Saints. So tune in Tuesday 1 to 3 here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Right, the spirit's up. We're here tonight, and that's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
That only comes this time of year. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply
You know, T, I'm trying to get into my computer here at work and my work login. The password I've had for 5 years not working. Just making sure I, didn't get the pink slip.
Well, I mean, no, it's probably a result of the suspension.
That's true.
Is
the new password low, man?
Have you apologized to Brian Kelly yet?
I hadn't seen him, But
Well,
he knows where I stand on 21 personnel.
Well, until you right that wrong, then
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be able to use
True.
the computers.
Yeah. I tried to make an argument, and then he said we have, the best offensive numbers in a regular season, maybe all time, top 10 ever. So
It's really, I know our frustration with Matt House is such that he dominates all the coordinator conversation, but I also did offer an apology on air yesterday to Mike Denbrock, and because, we were highly critical of him at first, and obviously he's done a masterful job. It would make me very happy if he got reward. I know he's a finalist now for the Broyles Award, and the only award that I really go to the mat for. It's weird, right? Because this feels like 2019, where you can make objective cases for people to win all these awards, and they say, "Oh, well, you're just an LSU homer," which is absolutely true. I am an LSU homer, but we can have coexisting truths. I am an LSU homer. Malik Neighbors clearly had the best season of any receiver in the country. And if you want to give it to Marvin Harrison because he had a bad quarterback throwing to him, that's fine. But just recognize you're doing the equally illogical thing of penalizing Malik Neighbors for having a good quarterback. That doesn't make any sense.
Kyle McCord also is way better, I think, statistically than people are giving him credit for. He still has Heisman odds. He's not going to win the Heisman. He's not going to be in the Heisman. He's not going to be in the conversation. But I'm saying,
well, that's crazy.
It hasn't been
Kyle McCord has Heisman odds. That's crazy.
It's not like he's been the Iowa quarterback.
I'm just saying he's not all the other great receivers are attached to a great quarterback. Odunze, Franklin. Okay, I mean, I like Brady Cook a lot, but I bet you people think about. I mean, I think Cook's better than McCord, but I don't think that he's not on the level of those other guys. So Luther Burden maybe. If you're gonna bump up Marvin Harrison Jr., how much do you bump up Luther Burden then?
Yeah.
So whatever. The point is
my man Drink going out there for Cody Schrader.
I can. Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
After the Arkansas game, he's shot his shot. He's talking about Heisman Trophy. This guy should be in the Heisman Trophy conversation.
What is the running back? Is it the Doak Walker?
Yes.
Who are the? I don't even know. The
I know the leading rusher.
Is Ollie Gordon still the leading rusher?
Yes, he is by a couple of yards, right over Cody Schrader. Cody Schrader's now moved into second in the country in rushing. I know you've got North Carolina's back, who I think's fourth now. I think Texas Tech has a back who is third in the country. So,
but what I'm saying is, if Cody Schrader is like right behind Ollie Gordon statistically. Now, granted, Oklahoma State is playing in their conference championship, but then also Oklahoma State with some really bad losses. Mizzou with the stronger overall season. I think you could say, okay, that'll be interesting. Cody Schrader might win the Doak Walk.
A couple of the bigger names, at least semifinalists. Jonathan Brooks from Texas, who's been really good this year. He's a guy that's
towards
kind
ACL,
of
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
he's hurt, though. He's out.
Blake Corum's in there. Ollie Gordon, y'all mentioned. Those are kind of the big names along with Cody Schrader, those 4 or 5.
Give it to Cody Schrader.
Emil says Kyle McCord is fine, yes, but he's not the standard they've had in the last 2 QBs, that's sure.
No.
Go back before last 2. I mean, Ohio State had quarterbacks for seemingly 10 years just step in and throw 40 touchdowns a year. Yeah, nobody's arguing that. All I'm saying is it sucks for both parties because, yes, Marvin Harrison's stats are somewhat suppressed because of playing with Kyle McCord. And I'm okay with engaging in that logic. But at the same time, you are taking away from these other receivers because they're playing with great quarterbacks. And both things are outside of the players we're talking about's control. And that's where that gets frustrating. So, again, this is a year where, like, I could argue for Malik to win Biletnikoff. I think Jaden Heisman is obvious. Then Brock Broyles. I mean, not obvious. I'd have to really sit down and think about it, but legitimacy there. I mean, even the LSU offensive line winning the Joe Moore Award. Will Campbell over 700 snaps, no sacks given up. But I won't do that. I won't go to bat for any of these things as long as the one that needs to happen does happen. We can sacrifice the Biletnikoff, the Broyles, the Joe Moore, if it means that Jaden gets to lift that Heisman in New York City, which he should. And,
it's funny, though. I mean, the Biletnikoff,
we should all be cheering for Washington if you really want Jaden to win, too.
Yeah, probably so.
Not probably. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, live during the A&M game last week, during the first half, the odds shifted into Bo Nix's favor.
Yeah.
They ain't shifted into Penix's favor. Like, it was as the defense was failing you. Now, of course, Jaden came back very strong, but you should be cheering for Washington this weekend if you want Jaden to win, which is fascinating because everybody thinks Oregon's going to win. I hope Oregon can finally go out and prove it. I mean, I get it. Like, on paper, how they look, everything else, they probably should. But I was told all the same things going into game number 1. I was told all the same things when they played that game in Eugene last year. We just keep crowning them.
Opened up at 8.5, up to 9.5 now in favor of Oregon. That is shocking. A game that's already been played. Washington won the game. Now, it was in Seattle, but they won the game, and the other team opens up that big of a favorite. Like, if Oregon was 3.5. Okay. All right, the way they're playing, Washington has won every time they've stepped on the field in the last 19 games, but some of them have been close. Opening up at 8.5 and being bet up to 9.5, that's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Vegas has a great grasp on Washington either way. They've been underrating them when you look at something like the game in Corvallis. They've been overrating them when you look at something like the Apple Cup. So the thing about Washington is, again, you're not going to find a lot of great logic on paper or analytically to say that Washington win this game. Like, if you talk to, like, gambling sharps, and I'm excited to sit down with my guy Colin Wilson later this week because he was someone who was, like, hard in the Oregon State bandwagon, right? But you're not going to find a lot of hard data that is going to say that Washington should win this game. But at a certain point, Jake, some people are gamers. And some people are winners. And Kalen DeBoer's been a certified winner his entire career, and he's been at this thing a lot longer than Dan Lanning has. And he's been in a lot more big games than Dan Lanning has. And when you talk about Michael Penix Jr., you're talking about someone who's won more big games than Bo Nix has. You're talking about Michael Penix Jr. You're talking about somebody who, when they were down in the fourth quarter of that Oregon game, was freestyling on the sidelines about how they were going to come back and win the game, and then that ish actually happened. And maybe this is where Nix and Lanning take the step, right? All I'm saying is if you're looking to try to craft the argument for the Huskies, like the argument for the Ducks is on paper. The argument for the Huskies is something more ephemeral. It is what I'm talking about. It's experiencing. They're battle tested.
Yeah.
They've been in fight after fight after fight. What's a championship team do? They find ways to win game in multiple ways. They've won games with defense. They've won games with offense. They've won games with special teams. They've won games when they made some of the most mind-boggling mistakes you could ever make, right? But they've won.
Yeah.
Every single time. Oregon got tested once, and look what happened. And we'll say, I guess it's not fair. They survived Texas Tech, which, again, per this conversation, I'm not even using as a negative.
The team
I'd say that's a positive
beat
for them.
57-7.
Yeah, look, that's what I'm saying. You could spin that as a negative, and I understand that, but I do think it's a different Oregon team. But on top of that, at least that's a time when they were in a fist fight and they had to survive, right? Like Washington, I mean, they got cauliflower ears. They got that mashed up MMA face that makes you uncomfortable to look at. Oregon's got a little bit of pretty boy Floyd in him, which maybe, maybe they show up and get it done, but we gonna see. All I know is I've been a Husky boy since the beginning. The fact that Jaden Daniels' Heisman hopes now ride on my Huskies beating those dirty Ducks are you kidding me? I might bark. I might start barking.
Yeah, well, then people start thinking you hang out with Aaron Murray a lot already.
That's
and
true.
then
That's true.
You're one of the grown
I don't
adults.
want to be cast as a Georgia fan.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's how serious it's getting. I might. All right, let's get back to LSU, and let's talk about Madhouse next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552, 925-8552. Oregon's built complete different than the Oregon remember from our childhood.
My childhood's Akili Smith, so I'm a little bit older.
The deal is, the defense is better.
Independence
sure,
Bowl,
but
Oregon.
do we crown this defense like they're like world beaters? We can get into it. CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. CentralPlumbing.org. Just lock it in, y'all. You already know it. We talk about it every day. They the best. Central Plumbing. Shout out to the Payne fam.
Go to the website, centralplumbing.org. At T-Bob gave you, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about, what we tell you about every single day as far as remodels. If you want to upgrade your home or your work, restroom, bathroom, whatever your situation might be, they can certainly come in, give you a consultation, and do just that. Go tankless today. Also, with the tankless water heater, never run out of hot water. Again, trust me, you'll love that feature, certainly if you have children. Go ahead and go to the phone lines as well, 225-925-8552.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
I'm Tom Granick with Gil Martin, Wardo's Po' Boys in Natchez, Mississippi. On behalf of the Granick family, we invite you to run, walk, or stroll in the second annual Rudolph Roll. Held on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, this holiday event will kick off at 8 a.m. on December 9th and will include a 10K, 5K, and 1 mile kids fun run. Along with the race, there will be live music, drinks, and of course, po' boys. We're looking forward to an even bigger party this year. For more information, please check out the link on Wardo's Facebook page or scan the QR code. Hope to see y'all there.
It was a humid day
barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Our weekly chat with Sean Salisbury, is Derek Carr salvageable? We'll talk about it Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Oh, this is such jolly music considering we're about to do a Madhouse segment. Jake, I haven't done a ton of digging. I would say I've done pawing at the ground. But there seems to be, as I'm sifting the dirt off the, kind of, what is that under there? There seems to be a lot of juice that Madhouse is going to be retained as defensive coordinator. And that changes will take place underneath. This is, you could say, very frustrating, and I would not say no, but this is fascinating as well to me on multiple levels. And not the least of which is a combination of Alex Grinch and what we talked about yesterday. We just saw USC go through something shockingly similar, where you had this incredible team that was so clearly held back by their defense. Everybody knew it. Everybody yelled about it. Everybody demanded change. The head coach stood by his man, and, well, nothing changed. And it ended up sinking the second season. It ended up sinking it harder than you ever could have imagined. And, Jake, it really sunk now the first 2 years of Lincoln Riley. All of a sudden, everybody kind of thinks Lincoln Riley sucks and is a fraud. All this goodwill, years of incredible resumes and Heismans, the way that people think about him and talk about him right now is actually super disrespectful to what he's done in college football up to this point. So the fact that you just saw that took place and you're in the almost exact same boat, and if you make this decision, I find that to be fascinating. But also, how about when you combine it with this, the conversation we had yesterday, when we were talking about success or not? And we said, look, if you look at these first 2 years of the BK era as laying the foundation, then yes, it was a success. But now you have to take the step forward. And so in year number 3, when you have to take the massive step forward and you're losing your Heisman quarterback, you better be right. Yeah. You better be right. Like, you are putting your nuts on the chopping block here. Not from a job standpoint, your job security is fine, but reputation, belief from the fans, belief from boosters, administrators, if you make the decision stick, you better be right.
So the Alex Grinch comparison, like Alex Grinch has been bad for a long time. And there's not a lot of good to point back to. So it's a little bit different of a conversation because LSU was 34th overall last year in total defense. So it was much better. Now, this year can never happen. I mean, this is one of the worst defenses LSU's ever had. I mean, you put it up there with 2020, and you put it up there with some of the late 90s defenses that we saw. And, like, I don't pretend to go back to the 80s and 70s. I'm sure there's somebody that could point out maybe one that was similar. I don't know that. But in recent memory, this is one of, if not the worst. I mean, you can make the argument for it. And so.
Oh, yeah, this has got to be. I mean, this is worse than the Pete Malvito. This is
2008 was, you're right. That was an adventure.
But this ain't even close.
No. So when you look at what it was, like.
Just worse than Pelini?
Points per game, I think it is worse. So when you look at that, like you have 34th to go back on, but then you see what this year was. And, you know, being inside those meeting rooms, does BK think this is more of a position coach situation? And you did lose your defensive line coach, and the defensive line suffered because of it the first couple of games. That was probably the thing that you and I pointed out the most outside of the zone coverage on tape when we watched the defensive line play, and being a yard and a half off the ball and getting stuck on blocks and not using their hands and all those things. So if you make the decision to keep Matt House, I would assume that means every level would have a new position coach. I mean, am I wrong there? Do you think
No, I think that's the funny part about the dynamics of college football, right? The people demand blood, and the more money you make, the more valuable that blood is to satiating the masses' hunger. And so it's like, instead of one house, you have to get rid of like 3 underlings. And it sucks. It sucks for everybody involved, and it sucks for all the families and everything. And I'd probably be pretty frustrated I'd be frustrated if I was anybody. There's a lot more meat on this bone. Let's go to break. When we get back, we continue to break it down, and then probably in an hour or two, because a lot of this got to go back to recruiting as well. I mean, LSU and BK, I know it's tough in the NIL era where they're at a financial disadvantage, but people aren't going to care. The expectation is the expectation. And you got to start landing some of these guys. And for whatever reason, you're not right now. All right, when we get back, close out hour 1 of OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. Toyota-thon going on right now, guys. And I really can't say enough about this new Toyota Sienna hybrid I got, bro. 30 miles to the gallon is so freaking sick. It's crazy. Like, I was actually looking at flights for Disney. And, I mean, well, first off, my immediate thing was like, hell no. I mean, that money can be way better spent on
Epcot beers.
Yeah, thank you. On the ass beers in Norway. They're literally called ass beers, okay, guys? Don't get mad at me. And then I doubled in the savings of the new mileage with the hybrid. And, like, I mean, I'm going to be rolling in cash. And until the mouse sucks it all out of me.
Well.
All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge. Remember, in Vegas, the house always wins. In Orlando, the mouse always wins.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you.
Charles Hanniger joined me and Jimmy Ott for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. Don't want a doll, no dinky tinker toy. I want a hippopotamus to play with and enjoy.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 11:30 The Tiger.
So I'm still getting used to this new college football schedule. Like, at this point, not only is signing day on the horizon, but it's Pirtle season, right? Like, Jesse McCormick in the chat says, shoot! Where'd it go? Okay, I remember the gist of what he said. He basically said the Pirtle was popping yesterday. In today's college football, is the transfer portal like even more important than signing day? You know, it may be more immediately impactful. You know, more important is probably still getting a great base of college freshmen to come in and develop. But if you're talking about getting high impact guys, like LSU's going to have to land guys in the secondary on the defensive side of the ball if they want to improve and they want to be good next year and they want to take the step forward. Here it is. Transfer portal was popping yesterday. It's going to be electric in the portal. Is portal season more important than National Signing Day season?
Yes, for some teams. For some teams, high school recruiting is still how they're going to build their foundation, but there's certainly some that the portal is by far more important to their team. I like an Ole Miss. Absolutely, it's more important for them.
Definitely for them, yeah.
Than it is. Now, for LSU, obviously, like you want to build through the high school ranks, but you do want to supplement your roster through the portal. I mean, you're LSU. Like, you should have some advantages, not over every team. We broke down the dollars and cents of it, but you still should have some advantages. So, yeah, it's going to be important. Now, that window opens up on December the 4th, and it closes on January the 2nd. So you're going to have basically a full month to go out there, see what you need, and which seems like it could be a lot, certainly on the defensive side of the football. And you have to ask yourself, like, how many players do I want to bring in? Do I want to get to 20 players? Do I want to bring in 11 players? Where do I have deficiencies? Where do I want to see if a young player can develop? Like receiver, you've got a lot of talented young players. Do you want to see how they can develop, or do you want to bring in 3 veteran guys? Like, those are the conversations you have to have. But for LSU, the conversation in the portal should start on the defense, should be about the defense, and should end with the defense, and then you can move to offense.
Yeah, the only thing on the offensive side that I would find interesting it's just a question that every team in the country has to ask themselves, and it's quarterback. Do you go for a quarterback for depth reasons and whatnot, or do you not? And there's not one answer, right? Like Georgia did not, liking their room of Beck, Vandegrift, and Stockton, and maybe you love Hurley, Nuss, and who am I missing?
Ricky
Collins. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll see. Who did LSU get out of the portal, Taylor?
Yeah, they got a defensive lineman.
Okay.
Sean Washington. He's from East Mississippi Community College, famously from Last Chance U. You guys remember that school? He's from New Orleans. He signed with Georgia, actually, back in 2022. He was an LSU commit on signing day. He was one of those Kirby flips. He was a 3 or 4 star, depending on where you look. 6'3", 297, so decent size there. Didn't get to play in time he wanted at Georgia. Left after his freshman year, played at EMCC last year, and now he's headed back to the boot.
Okay.
Junior college ranks now completely different than when we played.
I don't even understand how it works. Yeah.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Good morning, everybody. It is a.m. on Tuesday, November 28th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 63. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of OTB Mailbag, and Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show at 9 a.m. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
You know what you do, Jake? So in chess, when you just blunder and you leave a piece that the opponent can capture, you can't capture back, no counterplay. It's called hanging a piece. You know what you do when you hang the queen?
Hanging a piece. I've heard you've done that at Texas.
Okay.
Brazil.
Also, I'm playing god-awful chess right now.
Sorry, hanging a piece.
No.
Yes.
I am the Pete Carmichael. It is so crazy how much chess relates to your, I don't know, man, like your mentals. Like if I'm like not feeling very confident, I just can't explain it. Like mental health and my level of chess go hand in hand.
Right.
And it's been like a weird couple of weeks and my chess is off right now. But we're going to get into all that. You know who love chess, actually, funnily enough? The Vikings. They also love throwing axes, which is why this opening salvo here in hour number 2 is brought to you by Skull Axe Throwing, now open off of Lee. Boys, Thursday, remember a couple days, y'all ready? This Thursday night, make the plans. We're going to go throw some axes. Great for boys' night, girls' night, date night, corporate events, whatever you want. It's there off of Lee, gcaxe.com. Right now, if you book online, the code EARLYBIRD gives you 20% off. T-Bob, what's your chess rating? So I am the highest I've ever been. I only play 5-minute blitz chess. That's all I've ever played. Highest I've ever been. When I started, I got all the way down to 300. I was in the bottom 2% in the world. The highest I ever got to was 900. I'd say I'm really about an 820. Right now, I'm like 7-something. I don't want to talk. I'm like 780. It's just freaking pathetic.
820 puts you in what percentage?
It's like 60-something. Okay. Maybe closing on 70. My goal's 1,000. When I started this journey, my goal's 1,000. Been on for 3 years now. I'm going to get 1,000 eventually. I need to study more. I need to work more. I need to whatever. But the point of all of this, when you hang the queen, you know what you do? You resign. You've seen Queen's Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
What does the old man tell her, right? When you do that with the queen, no. She tries to give away. He's like, nah, fam, you resign.
Yeah.
That's Florida State a little bit right now. And we'll get into it when we talk college football playoff more a bit later on. But that's what sucks for the Seminoles so badly right now is football is the ultimate team game. If they win the ACC championship and go undefeated, the team should be rewarded with a chance to go to the playoff. But they hung the queen. Football's a weird game. Not all positions are created equally, and they lost by far the most valuable position. And so now the CFP is pray on their hands and knees begging for Louisville to find a way to win this game. Because otherwise they may have to be make a decision between undefeated Florida State versus one-loss Texas Big 12 champions. Undefeated Florida State versus if Alabama wins the SEC and you have a one-loss Alabama SEC champ and a one-loss Georgia non-SEC champ versus undefeated Florida State. Any of those 3 teams I just mentioned, FSU without Jordan Travis versus one-loss Texas, one-loss Bama, one-loss Georgia, who would you rather see in the playoff? Like, who do you think you would be more competitive in the playoff?
Yeah, it'd be that one-loss team.
I know, and that blows. And that sucks, and it's not fair. And so maybe we err on the side of fairness, and we put them in the same way we kind of put TCU in last year. Now, TCU, and to be fair, TCU, no, granted, I mean, they still have Duggan, so it's way different. But TCU did beat Michigan. But it's still just like, I don't know, man. I feel awful, just absolutely awful for Florida State fans.
It does suck because football, and we say it all the time, it is the ultimate team game. Like, you have to have all 11 working in the same direction. Very few times can you have even 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy not doing what he's supposed to be doing and have it be successful. That's just the way football works. And, to lose one player, now the most important player probably on your team, but to lose that player and to completely change the narrative of who you are as a team and to get to this point, and now it just does not feel like you can beat any of the top teams that are even close to you because Rodemaker is just not Jordan Travis. And so I do, I feel awful the fact that they got to this point and Jordan Travis gets hurt against North Alabama. Shout out to the Lions. They were up 13-0, but he gets hurt against North Alabama. And now their season and their championship hopes completely changed because, look, we saw that team. They got Jimmys and Joes all over the place, but the quarterback, that's, the guy that made everything work out there. So if they lose, they're certainly out of it. But, I mean, there's a situation, we were talking about it during the break tee, where you could have full 2007 chaotic energy, and not a lot has to happen.
No.
I mean, you can have, so if Alabama beats Georgia, you would have a 12-1 Georgia. Let's say Oregon beats Washington, and let's say it's a close game, 3-point game. You would have a 12-1 Oregon. You'd have a 12-1 Washington. If Louisville beats Florida State, you'd have a 12-1 Florida State. They would be out of it. If Texas beats Oklahoma State, they would also be 12-1. So you would have a 12-1 Bama, a 12-1 Texas, an 11-1 Ohio State, a 12-1 Oregon, a 12-1 Washington, a 12-1 Florida State, and a 12-1 Georgia.
So I think make that crazier, make Florida State 13-0. And I think that's your actual
You're probably right.
I think that's your actual most insane scenario. Because you would take almost any of those one-loss teams over Florida State
then
without
you're only
Jordan
two.
Travis.
You're only undefeateds that have a chance. Shout out to Liberty. They're undefeated, but they don't have an opportunity. Your only undefeateds would be Michigan, and it would be Florida State. So Michigan obviously would be the one, and then you would have to fill in the rest of it. I still think they would give Florida State the nod. And I know that the committee takes injuries into account. I understand all of that, but just being undefeated, you have a non-conference win against the top 15 LSU. You go undefeated, in a conference that I'm pretty sure there's never been a one-loss ACC champion that's been left out. Now, that's been Clemson most times, but
has there not?
No.
Did they not have one?
No, because Pitt is the team that won it.
I think at times we've said one loss will keep Clemson out, but then they've ended up losing two or three.
But you've never had it one loss, much less an undefeated ACC champ, be left out of the college football playoff. And so I still think that, I think they'd have to.
Right.
And I know that they take the injuries, again, into account. But still, you would have Michigan, you would have Florida State, and then that's where it gets interesting between Georgia and Bama and Texas and Oregon and Washington and Ohio State, who you would put into that other, those other two slots. Texas has the head-to-head against Bama. Ohio State, their only loss would be against the number one team in the country on the road in a one-score game.
The Texas the Texas Alabama one is still the funniest to me, simply because if Alabama wins, they would have the best win and the best loss, but they would have the head-to-head loss against Texas. So I don't know what you would do. No, and combined with the context of Alabama kind of surging with Texas flagging, though Alabama barely surviving Jordan Hare doesn't do any favors. Word on the street is they're calling that the nightmare in Jordan Hare. Also, I can't believe that Nick Saban calls that final play they ran Gravedigger.
So what's funny is I heard Coach Saban talk about it in post game, and he's like, it's actually something that we practice.
I know.
And he's right. Even going back 20 years ago when I was a freshman, we did practice that. And the DBs would get in position. Now, they weren't allowed to make a play on the ball, but they would just be in position.
No, that's what I'm saying. They literally, they complete it every time.
Yeah.
Like in practice. So they literally.
I have seen Dwayne Bowe in my mind catch that ball 100 times. And that's what I always say about Coach Saban. The smallest things are the biggest things. And if you don't practice it, how do you know?
The added detail of, because trying to avoid injury, the DBs letting them complete it is the best part.
Yeah.
Because you are literally training, like on a subconscious level, your offense to find a way to get it done. Nookie calling it the Milrow Miracle. I've heard it called the Mill Throw, which is all right. I like the nightmare in Jordan-Hare because that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of loss that ruins your Christmas, sticks with you forever, that you never quite get over. Like, I didn't want to bring this to public because I'm embarrassed about it, but...
Wait, whoa. I've never known you to be embarrassed about anything, so go ahead.
Well, it's still pissing me off. I'm still ashamed about it. Like, every time I think I'm over it, I think about it again, and I'm not. I burnt the roux yesterday, and I ruined the turkey gumbo. And I mean, I burnt the roux.
The poo out of the roux?
And the worst part is, I would like to think that I burned it when I combined it with the veggies for trying to speed it and going on too high heat. But I think I'm literally so dumb that I sat over that. And I have made plenty of gumbo. Like, I think of myself as quite a good gumbo maker. And yet I think I sat over that roux and watched it burn and didn't realize it was burning, which I do not understand how that's possible. It's causing me a complete crisis of confidence. I wasted so much good Iverstein's andouille sausage.
Ooh.
I wasted so much good leftover turkey from the best Thanksgiving turkey I ever had. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And it's ruining my day. And that's what happened in Jordan-Hare this weekend. They ruined their turkey gumbo.
Yeah.
And it's just something that you don't get over easily. But I'll tell you this.
90,000 people ruined their turkey gumbo.
I'll tell you this. I ain't backing down. I'm coming back this Christmas season, boys. I'm getting in a little test run after Disney, get my muscles flexed, get some confidence back, get in the lab. Maybe I start to bake it like chefs always talking about. I don't know. I'm getting in the lab, and I'll be damned if I ain't going to get another bird going this holiday season, and then a Christmas Day gumbo. It's going to be delicious and make the whole family happy. When I tell you it hurt my heart to pour that thing into the sink yesterday.
I had such promise, too.
It's literally my favorite part of every year,
Yeah, I know.
It's my favorite part of the Thanksgiving
It's kind
meal.
of like, going up to Fayetteville and beating Arkansas really badly and being 6-4 and bowl eligible and looking like the world is your oyster, and then you lose 31-10 to New Mexico State at home, and then you come back and you let the arch rival convert a 4th and 31 in your stadium. Very similar. But you know what? You have a chance to redeem yourself in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they don't.
They got to wait.
Also, I think this was as much an exercise for my own mental health as anything else, because I feel better now that I have this out here in public. Like, I had some level of deep internal shame where I just needed to shine light in it, like UV light burning out an infection or something. I just needed to shine light on it and get it out and accept it, make peace with it, and move on to fight another day. God, it hurts me so bad. All right, when we get back, OTB mailbag. And then I still want to revisit House and everything else a bit later in the hour. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on all new 23 Ford F-150 Black Widow trucks, plus $2,750 discount APR and 5.9% for 72 months. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Moffitt Method Podcast. I'm now offering personal one-on-one training in order to share my proven method of guiding athletes down the path to championships. Coaching is what I do, and now I'm offering my training program, the Moffitt Method, to athletes who aspire to reach their full potential. Lesson 1. The earlier you get started, the better. Search the Moffitt Method online to sign up today.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
College football talk all year long on the Chuck Oliver Show. Weeknights at 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Hunt Palmer back in the host chair where he belongs. He'll probably tell us about his weekend. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on LSU's win over the Texas A&M Aggies, and he'll continue to break down the New Orleans Saints. So tune in Tuesday 1 to 3 here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
O2E mailbag coming up right now in a second. Jake, Corey Raymond out at Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong with Raymond when he left here originally. It wasn't as much that Kelly didn't choose him as it was when he was in the decision process that Florida was like, well, screw this. I mean, we'll pay the man. Bring him like that. That Florida more swooped in and said, "Oh, look, man, he's not willing to commit to you yet, like we are."
Yeah.
Do you think you explore bringing Corey Raymond back?
I don't remember, exactly the details.
That's how I remember. Could be wrong. I'm just talking off the top of my head here. From the timing standpoint, I felt like it was when when everybody was kind of in limbo, and that Florida said, well, I mean, you don't need to, bro, if he don't want you, we do.
I'm not sure where you go with that. So, you'd have to find out, okay, well, why did Florida let you walk? What was that situation? Florida, they gave up 226.7 yards per game through the air. LSU gave up 245. So Florida struggled in pass coverage.
Yeah.
This year. I mean, there's a lot of factors that could kind of go into it. Obviously, like Corey Raymond, somebody that, man, I appreciate him, love him. He was a GA when I was at LSU, known him for a very, very long time, very close with him. So maybe I'm a little too, close to the case. Probably, turned in the badge and gun for a week on this conversation. I don't know, man. Look, it seems like Corey moved on. He went to Florida. LSU moves on, and Corey's not going to have any problem getting a job. And so I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want him going to A&M or something. I'm talking about recruiting.
It'd be probably recruiting. I'm never going to argue with Corey Raymond, obviously, being on a staff. We know what he is. We know what he can do.
We expect heads to roll under House. It seems like House's biggest weakness is potentially recruiting, and Corey Raymond would seem to check that box and then some. And and he had really good secondaries here. I don't know what exactly went so wrong in Florida, but we'll see.
I think you have to ask yourself, sometimes when you move on from a situation, you go
really
your way,
go
they
back.
go their way. What's that like when you go back?
Frank came back.
Right. Frank came back, and it's worked great. Bo Pelini came back, and it did not work out great.
True.
Bradley Del Pivito came back a couple of times. So people come back to schools. Now, Corey Raymond's a little bit different because Corey Raymond played at LSU, right, and was here for a very long time. As a GA, he leaves, he comes back. So he's already left and come back once. So, there's pros and cons to it for sure.
I bet you went ahead guys playing 20 yards off the ball. Or that's how this last game film, that's actually what frustrated me the most, was on all the third downs if you're playing zone. And I don't have a lot of great I have no experience playing zone coverage, Jake. But generally you're cognizant of, okay, where's the first down marker? And I'm going to use that kind of as a range finder for where we need to be set up. And they were just consistently letting A&M run to the marker, turn around, and catch it. It was wild. It was wild.
It wasn't great. It was not great. Even, being inside the stadium and scratching your head and wondering, is this the best technique to use here in this situation? Doesn't feel like it. I don't know what's going to happen with the defensive staff. Obviously, again, very close to Corey Raymond. I think the world of him. I know he's had some ups and downs in the coaching ranks. One thing that he's always been consistent in is recruiting. So, we know that.
And that's kind of what, it seems like you maybe need some juice in. So we'll see. All right, let's do a little OTB mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for off the bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet.
What the is the internet?
Hashtag OTB mailbag. What's a more significant threat to LSU's defensive success going to the expanded SEC/playoff? Texas A&M hiring Corey Raymond, or keep Matt House with the same support staff for another year? The only reason I won't say A&M hiring Corey Raymond is because A&M's already doing fine on the recruiting front. Now, I still don't want that because I think that probably results in you losing some DBs out of Louisiana, which you would not want to lose. But no, you just can't run back the full same defensive staff next year.
No, I don't. No, you can't. You can't. You can't. And I don't know what those changes look like, but you can't. Not with where you finished in the country. Not with the losses you had. I mean, certainly two of them you can point directly to one side of the football. And everybody knows that. And we're not breaking news. I mean, even the coaches on that staff, they know that. They realize what the situation is. They've been in this game a long time, too.
Hashtag OTB mailbag. Is this program ever going to say the name Robert Steeples? Hashtag OTB mailbag. Who is Robert Steeples? I mean, that is kind of the question, right? Like, there hasn't been all these defensive assistants are kind of nameless and faceless because all the vitriol's been directed to Matt House. Yet these will be the names that are probably going to be the heads that are rolling. His name was Robert Steeples. His name was Robert Steeples. Hashtag go to mailbag. Did you scoop up any Black Friday / Cyber Monday deals? No, I'm a little disappointed. All day yesterday, I kept being like, I should get on to Amazon. And I never did it. Like
I should have probably gotten on Amazon.
See what's on there,
too.
and I never did it once. Normally, I gain something that I don't need, but I'm like, I mean, it's such a deal. Like look, I can light the lamp outside with this USB lighter. Okay, sure.
If you listen to the show and don't watch it, you might not know what I'm talking about. But if you watch the show, you know that I have a melon hat on every single day, and melon never, ever goes on sale. Like no kind of sale. They had a 30% off sale.
Damn.
Almost pulled a muscle in my thumb trying to get to the site.
So you did. That was a little Cyber Monday?
Black Friday.
Okay. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hashtag go to mailbag. Duke is in a unique situation coming off Cutcliffe and Elko as head coach. Should they ignore the age issues with Willie Fritz or Lance Leipold to go with the younger names like Chadwell or Huff? Chadwell would not leave for Duke.
No, I'm not sure Chadwell would leave for Mississippi State. Like I'll be interested to see like where that.
Said no.
I'd be interested to see where that landed for sure. Lance Leipold has. Why would he go to Duke? I mean, he's already in a very similar situation. He's at Kansas, which is a basketball school. He's already kind of built them to be a top 25 team as well.
Yeah, Fritz wouldn't go to Duke either.
No. Word on the street is that Houston really wants Willie Fritz. Now, I don't know if I'm Willie, if I would. I know they got a lot of money. I know they have deep pockets.
Yeah,
yes.
that's just all.
But you are a far better team right now than Houston is.
Has to go to be mailbag. Will LSU Twitter survive Jaden not winning the Heisman and House being retained? Well, Taylor, as our correspondent, what would happen to Tiger droppings if both these came to pass?
Well, Tiger droppings is already unstable, but
it's already getting volatile.
It'd be bad. The House thing would be worse than the Jaden thing for sure. I mean,
Tiger droppings is already probably melting over House.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if House stayed, that would be worse.
Well,
what would be worst case scenario? Jaden loses the Heisman. Few hours later, Kelly announces House is staying. That would be worse.
Yeah. What?
So,
okay.
Is it accepted as truth on TD right now that he's definitely staying, or are there still people?
Actually hadn't been on in a while.
Okay. We'll do some research.
Well, how are you going to be our correspondent?
Yeah.
Bro?
What the hell, dude?
Come on, man.
We
Stop
are a
watching
beat
the
writer
Cowboys.
that doesn't cover your beat.
I'll do some scanning
confused.
today.
Yeah.
No, we'll do some scanning during this next commercial break.
Okay. Which would you rather? DA keeps Carmichael or BK keeps House? You had to pick one.
I
go House.
Definitely keep House because, like you said, he has.
You at least have something to fall back on last year.
He has a bit of a resume there, and I guess you could say that Pete does as well, but
no, he doesn't.
Pete is not
Sean
really.
Payton does.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like personal fan standpoint, I would rather.
Well, you're an LSU fan, so this doesn't matter to you.
Allen keep Carmichael because
impacts
me
you
less.
don't like the Saints.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag go. Thank you for adding nothing to the conversation.
You're
Taylor.
welcome.
Yeah, you received no points.
Hashtag go to mailbag. Will LSU win more than 9 games next year? Regular season? Don't feel like it, which is weird because the expectation will be that they need to, but it doesn't feel like it today. We'll see.
What was the number?
9. Will they go better than 9-3 regular season next year? USC,
you got two tough.
UCLA,
Yeah, you got two interesting. Well, I went interesting non-conference games. We don't know what USC is going to be.
But we can't take any non-conference for granted anymore.
I'm not doing that ever again.
No,
After I went into the Rose Bowl and saw UCLA run counter 37 times with Zach Charbonnet, and then the last 2 years with Florida State. Now, Florida State obviously ended up being a really, really good team, but still, nah.
Hashtag go to mailbag. Best bread to use for French toast. I actually have a great answer here, and a very passionate one. Challah bread. It's like Jewish bread. It's got this unreal texture, but you cut your slices like maybe like 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. Some challah. It'll blow your mind.
I'm gonna go like any thick brioche.
My stepfather's mother is the one who originally made it for me. And she has one of the most unbelievable life stories I've ever heard in my entire life. While we were eating challah and drinking coffee one morning, she was talking to me about when she was 9 years old, she was in Auschwitz. And she was talking to me about being on the lines, making bullets, and this, like, guard who risked his life to, like, give her slices of apples and stuff. I mean, just some insane stuff. So when she told me challah's the best for French toast, I said, okay, yes, man, absolutely. I agree. And it is. It's actually incredible.
It's a great story, actually.
It was the most amazing conversation I've ever had in my entire life. Just full stop.
Going back to the last question about 9 wins, like we don't know. We know the schedule part that we know is USC in Vegas. You've got Nicholls in Tiger Stadium. You have UCLA in Tiger Stadium. You have South Alabama in Tiger Stadium. Now this one on FBS schedules, it has Texas A&M on the road October the 26th. Is that already set in stone? Are they moving that game from the last game of the year?
Yeah, wait, I thought it was just something weird that, like, Arkansas was the last game or something again. I can't remember.
So this has them. This would have you going on the road against Texas A&M bye week, Bama.
But who do we end with in this one?
And it doesn't have it on this one.
I don't know.
I'm trying to look at the official schedule right now.
Hashtag go to be
a
mailbag.
lot of TBAs, but Arkansas is the TBA at the very end on LSUsports.net.
Does year one of Matt Rule's Corn Hub tenure get filed as a failure? They won more games in the previous year, but going 0-4 down the stretch can't feel good. So, as much as this bums me out, there was definite improvement. I would still bet on Matt Rule and Nebraska long term, but the end of this season was kind of an abject disaster. With a chance to go bowl eligible, you had a Michigan State team that I think had lost like 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And they beat you. I think you were catching a Maryland team that had lost 3 or 4 in a row. They beat you. You were getting a Wisconsin team that had lost 3 or 4 in a row. They beat you. And then you had an Iowa team that's awesome but was playing for nothing, and they beat you. And the added salt to the wound, all one-score games.
Yep.
And Nebraska has lost an unreal amount of one-score games the last 5 years. And that was Matt Rule's entire offseason focus was to change that. Look, the team is better. The defense is awesome. They turned the ball over at the dumbest rate I've ever seen in my entire life, which is why they arrived at where they did. I still am a believer long-term. I will bet on Rule, but too much Matt House. But I would not fault anyone who said this year's a failure. You needed to get bowl eligible and you blew it.
Yeah. The product looked better. It looked more stable.
There was juice.
There was a
the
better
defense
plan.
was awesome. The better play, but the turnovers and the lack of making plays in the one-score games.
You were brought in
insane.
to win those one-score games that Scott Frost lost, and you did.
The issue I have
you
more
needed to
is,
make a bowl. You needed to make a bowl. You had a bad Michigan State team, bad Maryland, bad Wisconsin, and you couldn't do it.
Well, and that's the thing. It was the offense. His defense was fine. He made 3 different quarterback changes, but look at some of the scores he had against these teams. Michigan State had a terrible defense. Scored 17 points. Colorado had a bad defense.
The offense was
he scored
garbage.
14 points.
Give me a turnover margin on Nebraska.
He scored 17 against Northwestern. Their defense hasn't been that great.
Scored 10 against Iowa, though.
10 against Maryland, though.
Yeah.
Iowa's points for in conference play was next to last in the Big Ten, and they're 10-2. They only scored 131 points in conference play. So in 9 conference games, they scored 131 points.
Legends.
And leaders.
The unders keep hitting, bro. That was good. That was good, actually. Hashtag go to mailbag. What's more surprising, Drink going 10-2 or Pittman only winning 1 SEC game? Definitely Drink going 10-2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro. I mean, look, I know, I thought Mizzou, we're 6-7. They should have won more, but I would have never fathomed that Mizzou would win 10 regular season games.
Fair.
I can fathom Arkansas collapsing. Yeah. I've seen that happen.
I picked Arkansas 7th at SEC Media Day in the West.
Didn't we end up picking them last?
Yeah, we did. You and I were talking about it in the car on the way to the airport, and gosh, there was a lot of people that were like, "Are y'all dumb?" Turns out you're dumb.
Yeah,
not us.
Mm-hmm. Even though I think I had maybe Mississippi State fourth or something. I don't know.
Like, we can talk about that. I did say Florida would win 5 games, and also that one was not very popular, and they won 5 games.
Yeah, and what's funny too is how far away does that Florida win in the swamp over Tennessee feel now? And we told y'all halfway through the season that Florida, going to that Georgia game, they're like, oh my God, is Florida kind of good? Said no, they're going to lose all the games down the stretch, and lo and behold, look what happened. How's Dorian doing, by the way?
I'll see him on Friday. He's not doing great. You know, the program that when he played, they won SEC championships, I think, every year. Maybe one they lost, but he's down bad. He really needed them to pull off the upset last week.
I just remember him with his puppy after the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
So excited. Yeah, he probably felt good when it was 12-0 last week.
Yeah, he did. He was texting me. He felt real good about it.
Good thing you ran Dan Mullen out of town, guys.
I mean, all he did was go to New Year's Six bowl games every year.
Yes, Taylor, before we go.
Nebraska forced 14 turnovers, so their opponents turned it over 14 times. Nebraska turned it over 31.
31 times.
16 interceptions, 15 lost fumbles.
Yeah, the fumbles are out of control. 31 turnover, guys.
They actually fumbled it 31 times. They recovered 16 of them. So they only lost half of them.
They averaged 3 turnovers a game, essentially. You can't do that. You just can't do that. But again, that's a very clear thing for Matt Rule to fix, and he has a good foundation. But yeah, that just rough year for the Hub. But don't worry, I'm gonna talk myself into him again this offseason, so just get ready for it. All right, when we get back, more OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Noel, Family Distillery, delicious spirits for everybody over 21. Just realized over 21. Look, you want the official tequila of LSU Athletics? You want Noel Family Distillery. But maybe with the Christmas season and holiday, you feel more of a rum. Well, how about that delicious rum made from Louisiana sugarcane right there in Downsville, Louisiana? That's right. Buy from the boot. Support local. Your bar, your local grocery store, go ask for Noel Family Distillery.
Yeah, and if you're looking for holiday gifts coming up, remember, you can go to that website and you can shop. You can pick up at the distillery there in Deville, or you can have it delivered right to your home. Check that out online, noeldistillery.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Our weekly chat with Sean Salisbury, is Derek Carr salvageable? We'll talk about it Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Daniel Blunt, I can't think about sports today. My partner just said he's been on OnlyFans for 2 years showing dudes his beehole.
Whoa.
He makes $15K a month.
I saw that. That's wild.
Is that what you...
Mara, you know what that sounds like.
You registered?
No, I'm just saying I
You
saw
know
that
what
guy
that
in the
sounds
chat.
like. I mean, that sounds like you're thinking about showing some beehole on OnlyFans.
I said no such thing.
Beholy fans.
Well, what did we talk about? The somebody in the chat like a month ago mentioned Feed Finder to us. Remember, like I would do that. I would sell feed pics if it was like anonymous.
I
like,
always wonder how real all the stories are of people making a bunch of money off of feed.
I agree. There is no way. Feet are gross. There
Well,
is
not
no
that.
way
No.
that
I
many
think-
people.
I think-
Rex
no.
Ryan that.
I think there is a large and thriving foot fetish community.
Do you?
I do. I honestly do. But I do. I guess I question whether or not, like, yes, there are certain people certainly that would be able to make money off selling their feet pictures. I guess I question that, like, this idea that just anybody could. I think if I was going to be into feet, I would need to know who the feet were attached to, right? Like, are we out here? If help me out if you're someone out there in the chat and you have a foot fetish. Like, is it just the feet?
I would imagine, right? Because like
No, I think it has to be the personality.
I was thinking
as well, right?
They probably want to know like some details, like maybe not who they belong to, but you know the gender and age and all that. And they get off based on that.
Look, just like everything else. Like if you're on OnlyFans or Tinder, wherever you're trying to find whatever you're looking for a type, a body type, or whatever you're looking for. Same with feet. It's like, I'm looking for skinny feet. I'm looking for hairy feet. I wouldn't think the person would matter.
Yeah, you can keep the anonymity and still kind of get them what they want.
That's what I was thinking.
I think, okay, maybe so. Maybe all right, maybe all wrong. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Imagine how much you have to make having a text stay Brazil. Okay, relax, guys, with the text stay Brazil. All right, let's go to break. When we got back, we got Coach Mulkey coming up. Keep it locked, OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to allstartoyota.batonrouge.com, allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com. Do you think Merv, Tim, and Jody are having this discussion? Probably not. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. We're never going to win.
They're telling you how to make a turkey gumbo right now.
You go to All-Star Toyota. Shut up, dude. Shut up. God dang it. Okay, you know what?
Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today. Reserve that vehicle for the holidays. If you got family coming into town, you need something a little bit bigger. Maybe you need the Sienna minivan to drive all that family around town, go to the different locations, maybe go shopping after Christmas, whatever. You can reserve that today. Or if you just need something today, right? No matter what it is, the full fleet is available in the entire rental process. Of course, you can buy new, you can lease as well. Find it all online at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on all new 23 Ford F-150 Black Widow trucks, plus $2,750 discount APR and 5.9% for 72 months. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Charles Hanniger joined me and Jimmy Ott for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back to Off the Bench. Right now, it's time for our weekly sit-down with Coach Kim Mulkey, the legend, national champion, fresh off a tourney win in the Cayman Islands. Coach, was your first time in Cayman. How'd it go?
Well, I'd much prefer to be there on vacation and still be there right now. Actually, if you've never been to the Cayman Islands, I was impressed, and I would go back there for vacation. Beautiful water, and it's expensive, but safe, and you're spread out. I was impressed with the Cayman Islands, and I was most proud of our team, guys. We were, playing out of position and asking them to do a lot of things after Samaya's injury and not having Angel and Kateri Poole with us. I was a proud coach.
And it would appear that Anissa Morrow, something about the water, agreed with her as well, Coach, as over the weekend she totals 65 points, 26 boards. In that Virginia game alone, very close battle, 76-73. She goes for 37 and 16. Plays all 40 minutes.
And we needed her for all 40 minutes. She really, really competed, and she's an undersized post player that can take you outside and shoot it, face up and shoot it. But, boy, she's powerful. She can leap out of the gym and get some putbacks. And she did what upperclassmen should do when you've got a bunch of youth on that floor and new players. And she's happy, and she's settling in. And, everybody wants to go, well, what turned the light on? Well, listen, she's getting more minutes. The more minutes you get, the more comfortable you become.
Coach, speaking of minutes, like you basically against UVA, I mean, you play 6 players. Like, is that a conversation that you have to have, or do you have that with your team beforehand? Like, hey, here's the situation. Here's what we have to do. We've got a couple of people that are out right now, and we need you to play 40, 36, 33 minutes. Like, do you have that conversation with your team?
Well, in the film session, you have a conversation with, okay, you're going to have to play out of position a little bit. I'm going to ask you to do a couple things that you're not comfortable. An example of that would be, Flage, you have to be uncomfortable for us tonight. What do you mean, Coach? Well, you need to rebound the ball. She had 15 rebounds, and we wouldn't normally ask her to have that many. You have to be uncomfortable in situations sometimes, and she was uncomfortable, but boy, did she produce. You go into a game thinking you're going to play more players, and then the flow of the game will dictate that.
Yeah.
I never thought that Morrow would have to play 40 minutes, but she did, and she was not winded. She was not gassed, and you just let her keep playing.
Coach, a massive Final Four rematch coming up in the PMAC this Thursday night. Pack out the PMAC, y'all. It's going to be an incredible game. You were very honest with us before the start of the season. I told you, I thought you were playing possum when you were texting us about this Colorado team. How are you feeling about the growth of your team as it prepares to take on another very highly ranked and very good opponent?
Well, if I didn't have the injury and I didn't have the Angel situation happen, I would say I feel good. We're coming along, but let's be real. When you don't have all your pieces, you have to improvise a little bit, and we don't have all our pieces. None of us thought that there would be an injury to Samaya, who was playing her best basketball, starting for us, and so we're not comfortable. We're not poised. We don't have all our pieces yet, and it doesn't matter. You can't cancel the game. We had the opportunity to watch Virginia Tech in the Caymans. They played against Tulane and Kansas, so we got a good taste of what they do. It's very obvious there's Amara and Kitley, their 2 main scorers from last year, are back. But, it's going to be good for us either way. It will be a good game. It's a late game on television, so those that have season tickets that don't want to come out late, I know you're going to sit at home and watch in the comforts of your big couch, but we need you there. We need you there.
8 p.m.
We've sold all these tickets. Come and you can rest the next day.
Coach, I think I already know the answer to this, but, I mean, people are just asking you about things constantly. When you have a big game like this, do you feel any added pressure to like compromise on whatever it is that you've already established in terms of who's available and who's not?
No. That availability was already decided in advance.
Yeah.
And you don't, that's the thing about it is I already know who I'm going to have available, but I knew who I was going to have available a week ago, 2 weeks ago. What I did not know is that Samaya would get injured. But as far as Angel and all that, that's already been decided. And let's go play ball.
Yeah. Coach Kim Mulkey, we're so lucky she joins us every single week here on OTB. Pack out the PMAC this Thursday, 8 p.m., Final Four rematch, fresh off a win in the Cayman. Thank you so much, Coach, for making some time with us this morning. Best of luck Thursday. Can't wait to watch, and we will catch up with you again next week.
You bet. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
You as well. All right, there she is, the legend. I feel really bad that we led into that with the conversation that we were having previously. But, such is OTB, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, really, honestly, I kind of want to revisit the conversation as well because I felt like y'all were making good points that I couldn't engage with because I was having a bit of mental panic as I realized something. So.
It would be a great environment, by the way, Thursday. I know it is a late boy, but.
Pack it out. Pack it out Thursday night, 8 p.m. Pack out the PMAC, Final Four rematch. Support this team and cheer them on to victory.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Restore me, refuel me, rejuve me. RejuveMeMedical.com. RejuveMeMedical.com. Look, if you want to feel younger, bigger, stronger, faster, better, male, female, 30, 40, 50, I don't care. You want Rejuve Me Medical. Okay, they are going to, they know how to fight the aging process. And that's like andropause, menopause, facial aging, mood and memory problems, insomnia, weight gain, anything. Go get your labs drawn, figure out exactly what your body is, where it's strong, where it's deficient, and then let them customize a plan for you. My wife did it recently. She loved it. Rivers did it. She loved it. I've done it. I loved it. You do it too. Rejuve Me Medical.
Go to that website today. Get that consultation set up because, again, like you might not know what you have going on, but you know something is going on. They're going to get to the bottom of it. They're going to get that blood work done. You're going to be in. You're going to be out. They're going to call you and then tell you, hey, here's what we need to do to get you back on the right path. RejuveMeMedical.com. RejuveMeMedical.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Tuesday, November 28th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 63. Coming up on OTB, Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show up next to talk Saints. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. Starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's up, y'all? What's happening? Welcome back. OTB, hour number 3. Time to play a little footsie with our guy, Nick Underhill. New Orleans Football is the site. You could call it New Orleans.football.disaster after Sunday. Not because the site is awesome. The analysis remains great. But the Saints are an abject disaster right now. Nick, what's going on, man? How we doing today?
Just putting one foot in front of the other and trying to get through the day, man.
Yeah. I've been using abject disaster too much. I got to stop that as well. But I don't know. I guess, I mean, plus, like, there's only so many ways you could say a team's bad. I should be using more than one. Nick, I don't know what to say about Sunday. I told you that I already felt like it was a game where kind of the season was on the line. And there are many ways in which it could have played out where I think my response would have been more measured and more, okay, you lost, but this and this. I don't know that you could have made it feel any worse than what you had to witness on Sunday.
Oh man, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot, and it's as bad as it can get. I mean, you aren't scoring points in the at all. Like, you know, it's just 6 field goal attempts, and you know, the thing that bothers me more than anything is I think the tone afterwards, like when we're talking to Dennis Allen and them, and, you know, it just kind of sounds like, you know, like we got yards, but we aren't scoring. So I think if we can move the ball in the other 80 yards, it's fine because that means we're eventually going to move the ball in the red zone. Well, it's week 12, man. Like, you know, if you're walking to the bank and you have a bunch of money in your pockets and you get mugged before you reach the door and you don't make the deposit, you don't have any money anymore. You're broke. You don't have nothing. And, you know, I don't want to hear about like the almost stuff and the maybe stuff. And, you know, it's just, it's bad. It's broken. You just lost to the Falcons. You didn't score any points. Your starting quarterback hasn't scored a touchdown in 2 games. You know, it's just, enough's kind of enough at this point, and it feels broken, and I don't think it's going to get better. I think this is just kind of what it is, and it's going to be one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, and I'm tired of watching it, and, you know, it just feels like a significant underachievement, and I understand there were injuries in this game, and I understand Ryan Ramczyk had penalties, but I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, there were just too many blown opportunities early in the season to where a holding penalty by Ryan Ramczyk in week 12 shouldn't matter. Like, it shouldn't matter. You should be able to overcome it. You're playing the Falcons. Desmond Ritter's their starting quarterback, and you don't have any way of stopping him from running. You can't stop their running game overall. All your investment in the offseason, the very first moves you made was to make your run defense better. It's not better. Your quarterback doesn't work. It's just broken right now. And look, there are 6 games. Maybe they find a way to figure it out. But at this point, it's just kind of like, you know, what's even the point? What's the point of figuring it out? Like, it isn't going to be better next year. So, you know, I think it's just at a point where they got to seriously start looking at everything and figuring out, you know, where it's going to go from here, how it's going to get better, and how, you know, who they're going to do those things with. Because It just can't. It can't be this. It can't be this again. Like it simply can't. Like the roster is going to get older. Their schedule is going to be harder. Running it back the way it is now, even if you get some momentum and get to 9-8 or whatever it is, like I don't think you're going to be better next season with the way you're doing things. So I think the hard evaluation needs to start like right now.
It's not going to get better if they continue with the current structure that they have. But I think, Nick, that's the issue, and you kind of just said it. I don't think that they'll change what the structure is as far as the play calls, the personnel in the field at certain times, and putting certain players in position to succeed or fail. Like, that's the problem. In the NFL, that should never happen. If something's not working, you shouldn't stay with the same, but that's what the Saints are doing.
They don't do anything really. And look, this is tough to say after this last game because they did feature Chris Olave early in the game, and they got him going. He had 114 yards before that happened. That was really the first time the whole entire season I felt like they did something to feature a playmaker on either side of the ball. I don't think they do anything to feature their playmakers on defense. I don't think they do anything to feature their playmakers on offense. And everything is just so much harder than it needs to be. And, one of the things that I thought was crazy this week is after the game, Alvin Kamara says, hey, like, we don't have an identity. We haven't figured it out. We don't know what we want to be. We aren't doing those things. And I think that's true. I don't see a team with an identity. I couldn't tell you what they do well. I couldn't tell you what they try to lean on besides shots down the field. Like, they don't have any type of identity. Then the next day, Dennis Allen goes up there and says, like, no, I disagree with that. We do have an identity. We ran the ball well in this game and we're explosive. Okay, well, again, and I've said this before, but it's insane to me that, like, if those are the two elements, you have 45 play action attempts this year. You double that number, you're 20th in the league. That's your identity, and you aren't doing anything to build on it and, taking the shortcuts that can kind of help your offense a little bit by doing things that everybody else is doing. And I think that's the problem with this team is that they have not evolved. Like, they are just very much a 2016 type team, like offense, defense, everything. I think it's all just very much right there. And there has been an explosion of innovation over the last 7-8 years. The college stuff is coming up to the NFL. Everybody's using, more motion. There's and this stuff isn't even modern. It's just like what football is. It's just regular football at this point. And they're kind of stuck back there with it. And none of it is part of what they're doing. I don't think they have an identity. I don't think they know what they want to do. And look, I think the players are kind of, I think they're starting to feel it too. Like, I think it's very close to a situation where, people are starting to look at everything like really funny. And, I think they badly need success or stuff's going to start. It's going to come to a head. I think it's right there right now.
So I want to get to a very big picture take in a second, but like the Kamara quote told me that after the game.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't see basically saying like the locker room ain't lost player to player, but he made it very clear that the locker room ain't lost amongst the players, right? Like his lack of mentioning the coaches said all I needed to hear. Like, I'm not out of pocket, right? That was Alvin Kamara basically saying these coaches are booty. We don't believe in them. I mean, Derek Carr's booty too. We can get there into that, but still.
I mean, if you're going to try to read between the lines, and I don't have any insight here to what he was actually trying to say or whatever, but I mean, I read it the same way. I watched it. I read, you're kind of looking at it and you're like, And he spoke with purpose there. Like, when Alvin picks his spots, and like sometimes, he kind of holds court, and it's to send a message, just to say what he's got to say, and it's to get it out. And sometimes during the week when he does his weekly availability, there is a whole different tone to it. It's being done out of like, all right, I got to check this box. And then there's times where Alvin has something to say and he says it, and he kind of leads you somewhere, and it's like, all right, what's he trying to say? And yeah, I mean, I kind of read it the same way. They're playing for each other. They aren't giving up on each other.
Yes.
They aren't going to quit on each other. And there is no tension between the players. And you didn't lose the locker room between the players. There's no bickering with the players. There's no, I thought everything he said was very deliberate, and it was to lead you somewhere to kind of be like, what's he trying to say? And yeah, I ended up the same place as you. And I agree. They haven't lost the locker room. Like, I've seen lost locker rooms. In 2014, Brandon Dederick fought another player, both naked in the middle of the locker room. That's players going at each other. Like, I don't think these guys are at each other. I think they kind of know what's wrong. And there's a lot of interviews like that where it's kind of like, guys are saying, like, we're going to go out and try to, do the things that we can as best we can with them, what they're telling us to do. And it's just kind of like, what are you trying to say here? I think it's right there. I really do. I really think it's right there. And if they lose a couple more games, I think things are going to start to get, like, really interesting. And I think there's a chance we start to hear some things. Like, I think there's a chance there might be some pressure coming from the locker room if this thing doesn't turn around, because they are extremely frustrated. And, you see it. You see why. But again, there's 6 games, and I don't want to, be too premature on this stuff. They could win a couple. They beat Detroit, and, all of a sudden people might feel good, and that's kind of how this stuff goes. I thought last year it reached the same boiling point coming out of the Tampa Bay game. I thought it was going to fall apart, and they end up finding success, and it comes back together. So maybe that happens again, but I do think that they are at a crossroads right here, and a loss this week, like, I'm worried about what it could do to the team. I really think that it's that close to reaching a boiling point.
But like, Nick, why not like try something different? Because what you're currently doing is not good enough. And again, like, just leaning on my days in the NFL, like, if a guy was playing bad, it didn't really matter who it was.
You talking about Jameis?
Anything, T-Bob. Like, it didn't matter what position it was. Like, if you had a string of like 3 or 4 weeks, it didn't matter your contract for the most part. Like, you were not going to play. Like, you were going to get replaced. Like, you were going to lose playing time. And I've never really seen a team like this that's like, you have a bad game, it's okay, we'll get them next time. Like, there's no next time in the NFL, but this team has that approach. Like, why are we not seeing, like, some changes or just trying something a little bit different? I know they've had some injuries, and so maybe that limits some of the changes you can make, but just to continue to roll the same product out there, to me, is crazy in the NFL.
I think that they're in this position where these people that, the people making decisions are evaluating it through the prism of we're one game out of first place. But, like, you are in the worst division in football. Like, you're comparing yourself to substandard products and trying to convince yourself that, like, you're right there. Like, we get into the playoffs and it's fine. Like, sure. Like, it's worrying. Okay, cool. Yeah. Do what you got to do to win it. But, like, at the same time, you got to look at, like, big picture and long term. And, it's just kind of like, where do you stack up against the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, that's where I want to measure myself if I'm a team. Like, where do I stack up against the Eagles? Do I have any chance of getting there? No, I don't. Like, the Steelers are 7-4 right now. They're a playoff team. They fired their offensive coordinator. They made changes. They did things for the long-term benefit of their team. So, I don't subscribe to the thinking of, like, you're a game out of first place, but I know that's how they're looking at it. They think, okay, we get into the playoffs, maybe we gel, maybe we get rolling.
Well, see,
as far as, like,
that makes me so mad, though, Nick, because that flies in the face of what we were talking about last week, right? That hopefully the leadership, and I won't say ownership, because I feel like, and I don't know the full extent of this, but I do feel like there's a lot of delegation taking place, which, ideally a lot of times what we want out of our owners, right? But the leadership of the Saints, my great hope was that regardless of wins, they could be objective about looking at this. But, like, as you said, this feels like a 2016 team offensively, and I've been playing with the metaphor all week, Nick. This is Jack on the Titanic, hanging on until the last minute. I mean, floating in the Atlantic Ocean, still desperately clinging onto Rose's hand, thinking he's going to survive and they're going to live together, be happy, be married, and have kids. It's over, Jack. You're dead. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel like there is anything that can be done that should save, like, I don't know how high it goes up. I mean, certainly Dennis Allen and the staff, but then, I mean, how culpable is Mickey Loomis? Like, I know he's in the power circle, so he's probably a made man untouchable. But, like, he's the one who has led the charge on this clinging and on the draft picks and on the Carr signing, which has been, to use it again, an abject disaster.
A lemon.
Yeah, so a couple things here. Like, my biggest fear with them is that they figure out how to win a few games. They beat a couple of these trash buckets on their schedule, like the Giants, and they win enough games to win the division, and they what is that? What happens next year, though? Again, what happens next year? You do that, you win 9 games, you make the playoffs, you get smoked in the first round. You're not going to be good enough next year. So I think they got to be honest about that. For a while, my own personal thinking, I kind of felt like Mickey and them wouldn't make. I kind of just felt like they're going to stay the course no matter what. I feel differently now. I feel differently about that. I feel differently about it. I just kind of gathered a different feeling to where I think that, maybe there is a willingness to make hard decisions if things look bad. So we'll see. Historically they've been incredibly patient, but I think now I kind of view that patience as something that has to be earned. So, if there is a point where hard decisions have to be made, I actually think that could happen. I think if they don't make the playoffs, I think that's a layup. I think if they make the playoffs and it's an underachieving path there, I think there's a chance there's a shot taken, at trying to get better. So I don't necessarily feel like they're just going to stay the course no matter what. I do think that they would do some things differently. And look, I have a hard time blaming Mickey for hiring DA because I actually thought it was the right move at the time. I thought you had a guy in the building that was getting head coaching hype. I thought that you would check, you needed to check it out. And the thing that I said at the time is, like, if you let him go and he ends up being good, you're filled with regret. It's the Dan Campbell thing. Like, if you have Dan Campbell there and he's like a potential head coach and Sean Payton leaves a year earlier and you don't give him a chance and now he goes to succeed somewhere else, you can't fix that. But if you give Dan Campbell the shot and he fails in your building, you can fix that by cutting bait and making a change quickly. So, I think it's the same thing with DA. If he just doesn't turn this around and they look like this the rest of the way, they don't run the table after Detroit, I feel like you got to be serious about it and say, all right, is this the right move? And if it's not, like, you cut bait and you move on, and that's fine. You can fix it. You can get the right guy in the building this time. You gave a guy that was, getting interviews and all this stuff with the rest of the league a shot. It didn't work fine. But you got to be able to admit the mistake. That's the thing here. You can't cling to the mistake. Clinging to the mistake is the real mistake. Making the wrong hire and failing fast, sometimes that happens. Like, sometimes it's just you have all the evidence in the world. You have all the data. You think you see all the things, and then poof, it doesn't work. I mean, that stuff happens. But you got to get it right. So, I mean, that's where they're at. And I do think that if things just don't turn around, I do think that there's a strong possibility that decisions will be made.
Well, Nick, what does your crystal ball tell you? Like, if you look at what the Saints have left on the schedule, and obviously this is probably the toughest one coming up against the Lions, but what does your crystal ball tell you where the Saints team will finish, what the record might be? Like, do you think they have enough juice to be able to go out there, even with the bad teams, and make the playoffs?
Man, I mean, the bar is so low. The bar is so low to making the playoffs. I think there's a chance they still do it. And that's where it gets scary, because if they do, even in, the frustration that exists today and the way people are looking at things today, like, it could change. You get into the playoffs and you have a decent performance. Like, maybe everybody views things differently. If you get in the playoffs and you throw a Hail Mary and you actually, like, say, hey, like, I can bring this, like, talented offensive coordinator to the table. I don't see why, like, John Gruden would be the guy that would want to come here and save everything. But, like, let's say they make playoffs and they find a way to convince Gruden. You run it back another, like, there's just so much that could happen here to crystal ball it. I don't think that this works. So, like, personally, I don't think this works. Like, I got to see something drastically different. The quarterback, I think, is incredibly underwhelming at this point. It's unbelievable that, the explanation after throwing a pick six was like, well, golly, like, the safety actually made a mistake on that play. What
also, Nick, like, the throw was awful. It was so terrible. Far behind. Like, not even the defender actually covering would have had a chance to touch it. It was an awful throw. But, sorry, continue.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just that throw. Like, I wrote this thing during the bye about, like, why have crossing routes evaporated from this offense? They used to be so automatic for the team. And, like, we showed all the data from, like, years past and how they just hadn't thrown any. And they went out in this game and they threw a ton of them. And they were all inaccurate. Yeah. Every single one of them was inaccurate. And it was just unbelievable. Hurt. Yeah, people getting hurt. It's just I don't understand where the short accuracy is, but the fact that, like, you are in the red zone against single high and there is no possibility of someone reading you because you locked in on him from the moment the ball was snapped. Like, if you go look at the all 22, they got the two end zone views. I don't know where people access it. Maybe they only got one, but the thing I'm on, they got both end zone views, and you can just see his eyes on Shaheed from the moment the ball is snapped. Never looks anywhere else. What's Jesse Bates going to do? Like, and all he had to do, he didn't even have to pump fake. If he had just, like, moved his shoulder a little bit forward, Bates is jumping that. And then if you just go left to right, A.T. Perry, Chris Olave, like, both of them wide open on the backside of the formation. Like, I just don't understand. Like, if you see Bates, you just look at him. If you looked off at Shaheed for a second, you see Bates just watching the route the whole entire time. And then you get to the podium and you say he made a mistake and played it wrong. Like, what are you talking about? You just got pick 6, man. You played it wrong. I could not believe it. I just want to hear him say, like, I effed up. I want to hear DA say, like, the quarterback effed up. DA will never say anything about Carr. Carr never takes any blame. Like, there's been a couple where he's like, oh, that was a dumb throw, where there's just, like, no way to defend it. But, like, the lack of accountability in some of these moments is baffling to me. And just, like, more than anything else, like, lose the game is fine, but, like, go up there and say, you know, I screwed up. Because you know what's happening? Like, if we're sitting here saying, like, these are wild responses to these questions, what do you think the players are doing?
Yeah.
The players are sitting there saying, hey, like, my quarterback isn't out there, you know, he's throwing me under the bus. He isn't owning anything. Like, they want to hear him say it too. Like, hey, I made a bad play. We're going to get it better. You know, like, we're talking about the identity thing earlier. Just say, like, yeah, we know what we want to be on offense, but we haven't got there and we got to do it better. Like, that's it. Like, don't say, like, oh, we ran the ball well. Like, we have explosive plays. Like, no, man, like, your team stinks. Like, when you aren't scoring in the red zone, don't say, like, we're moving the ball the other 80 yards, but the last 20 aren't there. Just say, like, we stink in the red zone. Our quarterback hasn't been good enough. We got to find a way to execute it. Like, I just don't understand, like, why some of this stuff isn't there. And I'm telling you, like, the players are hearing it and they're taking it the same way, and it's, like, adding to the frustration. And, you know, I just think some of the messaging could be a little bit better.
Just should have freaking known when that dude ate at Chipotle. You know, I don't know. Nick Underhill at Nick_Underhill, New Orleans on football side. Thank you, Nick. We kept you very long, but it is a fascinating time for the New Orleans Saints. Feels like a lot is hanging in the balance. Last game already pushed me to where, you know, my mind is made up, but we'll see what ends up happening. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, I could have ranted for like 20 more minutes. There's a lot here.
Hell yeah, dude. And that's why you need to go sign up for New Orleans on football. Okay, they got pods, they got video content, they have excellent written analysis. Him and Mike Triplett, Brooke Kirkhoff, for the whole crew. Go check them out. NewOrleans.football. I'm a proud subscriber. All right, when we get back, more OTB. I'm going to tell you why Jake was wrong. Maybe more wrong than he's ever been before. Keep it locked. Off the bench.
OTB, OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Hunt Palmer back in the host chair where he belongs. He'll probably tell us about his weekend. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on LSU's win over the Texas A&M Aggies, and he'll continue to break down the New Orleans Saints. So tune in Tuesday 1 to 3 here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Pedro says that why is it local sports media never call out the failing Saints ownership as they do in New York, Philly, and LA and elsewhere? They list issues, but still metaphorically fillet ownership. Cowards. I think that if you're talking about, if you're talking about a smaller market versus a major market, there are power dynamics at play. Where if you are someone who relies on that team for your job, you have to be more careful in these smaller markets than you do the larger ones, because that's how you lose access. In a New York, Philly, or LA, the power dynamics are such that you can't really keep those media entities out because they are bigger and stronger. Like, as much as I was joking about the Jake angle of going after Brian Kelly for fullbacks and not biting the hand that feeds, I've literally gotten that talk before. Like, I've gotten pulled aside and reprimanded for, we have LSU's this, and I get it. Like, I'm not like I understand it. Like, it is what it is. So I think that's an angle. I think the Saints ownership is unique as well, and that I don't know to the full extent of like how much is Gail Benson making decisions herself, and how much is she delegating to those that she trusts, and who is it that she trusts, right? Like, I think I know, but I don't know for sure. So it's like we don't actually know who's making these decisions beyond Mickey Loomis. And I think that, right now, Mickey Loomis needs to be as much on the chopping block as anyone else. But as we mentioned, I think he also has the full trust of Gail Benson. I think that's probably, the one of the chief people that she's delegating a lot of these decisions to. So I think there's a few different angles there. But I told you, my mind's made up, dude. Like, I'm going to enjoy every Saints win. I want the Saints to win every game from here on out. And I will do the paradoxical thing of still thinking that everyone should be fired after the season. So that's where I stand personally on it right now.
I think the ownership, the thing they need to realize is that for a long period of time, and for the first time in the franchise history, they had extended success, right? And sometimes you can get lost in that because the Saints, let's call it like it is. I mean, we were all fans growing up. They were bad. I mean, maybe not Mario, because, I mean, he kind of came into a golden age when he was growing up. But, for you and for me, like, your dad's teams, like, that was like, it's not possible. There's no way the Saints can win a division or make it to the postseason, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that was the most success. And then it went away for a long time. Then you get it back in the early 2000s, then it goes away quickly again. So you get into this window to you of extended success, and you fall in love with it. I mean, you're head over heels. You don't know what to do with yourself because you've only had great, quick relationships. You've never been married and been happy like this. Well, now the Saints have been happy. And when it starts to go sour, you're like, wait, what happened?
Save this thing.
What went wrong? Yeah, we have to save this marriage. And then there's some marriages that there's just no saving. No matter how many good times you had, the bad times now outweigh the good times. And that's where they're at right now. And you have to really just look at what you've tried to hold on to, realize that it's not going to work out, and you need to go your separate ways. You need to date new people. And until they have that conversation, we're going to continue to come in here year after year and talk about a mediocre Saints team. Not an awful Saints team, certainly not a great Saints team, but one that's just okay and kind of lives in those margins of on the edge of the postseason. If they win this game, if they have 2 games here, they can make it. If they lose these 2, they're going to be disappointing, and they're going to pick somewhere between 12 and 17 in the draft. So until they have that conversation with themselves, that's kind of what the conversation is going to be.
Yeah, and then, that's well said, Jake. And then Pedro goes on to say, okay, Team Up, so they're not independent journalists. That's what I thought. I think you're being really immature about the entire situation. They are independent journalists. But to go out into real life and to act like everything is just black and white and clearly this is, these are the lines of delineation between what is right and wrong, and some people live their life that way, okay? But in 99.9% of businesses, the world doesn't work like that. It's push and pull. It's relationship managing. Okay, you know what? I kind of got to flub a little bit here and cover up here, but you know what? Here's where I have to draw this line and saying I'm not going to anymore. So it's not like if you want to live in some fantasy world where, yes, relationships don't matter, and you think that, Lincoln Riley banned a student reporter from USC for freaking just like reporting on a conversation he overheard.
Yeah.
It's and again, because it's LA, and then the LA media rallied behind this kid and applied enough pressure, that kid got his access back, right? It's harder to do in a place like here where the teams that you cover wield much more power, especially now where the dynamics have changed, where the people hate the media. So, I've seen this since I started doing this job in 2013. I used to have this idea out there that, no, we're just trying to I remember raising a big stink about when Edo banned media from camp practice. And I made this whole Russian propaganda bit do not worry, practice is going great, team is going to be excellent. Trust in the leadership, do not worry. And I got blowback for being shut up, nobody wants the media there anyway. So the power dynamics are such that you got to play the game, man. It doesn't mean you're not an independent journalist. It doesn't mean you're not a good journalist. It's just the reality of the situation. And every job has realities like that fly in the face of what you were told as a kid. You were told as a kid in America, you worked your ass off, well, you're going to be super successful. It ain't true. I know a lot of people that work their ass off. And they're grinding to get by, paycheck to paycheck. Blue-collar jobs. Never got the upward mobility. I'm a Nepo baby myself, right? I'm on the opposite side of that equation. So it's it ain't true, man. The myth of real life is going to get shattered if you just walk through thinking that this is just and right and this is how it's supposed to be. It ain't like that. And so you got a lot of good journalists out here that are just trying to do their thing as they can in the situations in which they can. That's just, I'm sorry. I don't even know where that all started. I feel like I just blacked out Will Ferrell style. But that's how I feel about covering teams in a small market. I think it can be a very delicate process. I'm just out here trying to talk about feet, man. You know, like I'm still wondering, do you really care just about the shape of the feet, or is it the person attached to the feet?
I'm unsure what more the people want to. I mean, to me, it seems like the media's kind of held the Saints' feet to the fire this year. I mean, you talk about it all the time. Underhill writes something, they change something. I listen to the Dennis Allen press conferences on the way back from every game. They ask him questions. There's a lot of cringe moments. Like, what more do you want them to do?
No, Nick is at the top tier, and so is guys like Mike Triplett, at how to handle this stuff.
Yeah.
They know when to sit, when to press, and that is a delicate line because they have to manage flows of information, right? And yeah, I would say Nick and Mike are among some of the best at that. And granted, what else helps in that regard is that these things that Nick has been calling out this year that are that have gone on to be changed, they are not opinion, they are just objective truths. Like they're just, that's the unique part. The Saints are just doing something so objectively badly that nobody can get mad at you for calling them out because, like, what are you talking about? And I teased us all saying why Jake was wrong, and here's why you lied to us, Jake. You said Derek Carr was Andy Dalton. Derek Carr is worse than Andy Dalton, okay? So you got our hopes up, and you said we paid so much more just to get Andy Dalton. We paid more to get less. So thanks, man. You lied to the people too.
Yeah.
Hope you're happy.
Yeah, you're right.
I definitely didn't say he was way better than Andy Dalton. Don't check any of the tape because that crap did not happen, and I will not agree with you if you say it did.
Yeah.
I told you Andy Dalton. I wanted Jameis from the beginning.
Well, I mean, we're not going to Jameis. We're talking about Andy Dalton here, and you're right. Andy Dalton was better. Derek Carr, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions right now. Taylor's got the numbers right up there on the screen. Better completion percentage. Look this up before. Better touchdown percentage. QBR is higher.
Bro, can we just put a 1 in front of that 4 again? Dye his hair red? Maybe bring back the magic. Remember Dalton used to throw touchdowns, do like I love you to the stands?
Yeah.
I don't know what Derek Carr does.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him throw a touchdown in the Saints' last 33 possessions.
If he did, you forgot.
We've seen Jameis Winston throw 2. We've seen Taysom Hill throw 1. We've seen none from Derek Carr.
You laugh so you don't cry.
Pierce Lee, wait till T-Bob hears about Sports Illustrated, getting accused of AI sports writers make articles.
Oh, have you not seen that?
I have not, but I mean, bro, Sports Illustrated has been a garbage shell of itself for years and years and years now. Sports Illustrated's been trying to find ways out of paying human beings, so none of that surprises me. All right, when we get back, more OTB.
OTB, OT.
K2ZBlinds.com, KTOZBlinds.com. K2Z window coverings, guys, for 25 years. Been taking care of you, man. That's experience. That's quality product. And I'm talking to you, whoever's into interior design in your household. Maybe your wife is, maybe your husband is, maybe you are. Whoever it is, this is a great Christmas idea. Get Brandon Barton and the team out to your home and bring that man cave, that living room, that outdoor living space, that theater, whatever, to the next level with window coverings that wow both aesthetically and functionally. K2Z Blinds, KTOZBlinds.com.
Yeah, go to the website today and check out all the things they can do for you. Get that consultation set up as well. But I would just encourage you to have them come out to your home. They are going to learn your space, and it's going to be a quick process as well. Know your space, give you the best possible situation. K2ZBlinds.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Our weekly chat with Sean Salisbury, is Derek Carr salvageable? We'll talk about it Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Corey Raymond debate's going to continue to thrive. Some want to back, some will not. I mean, I'm both. Like, if Corey came back, I'd be hyped. If you're telling me that's a non-starter for you, I don't think it's the end of the world. God, you gotta save DBU though. I mean, you've obviously already lost the title. Alabama has it over you now. Ohio State has it over you now. But you got to get back in the convo. What happened this year has been just disastrous.
I mean, you've turned yourself into wide receiver you.
Yeah.
But you got to
true.
get DBU back.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State obviously would be in that conversation too, but you look at the pairs that LSU's had at receiver. I mean, not even that long ago with Jefferson and Chase, and then now obviously with Neighbors and BT. But you got to get that back. You got to get that swagger back. You got to get that just mean, nasty, and tough, like playing DB with a linebacker mentality back. That's what you need back.
No more little soft zone boys.
No. Look, quarters in cover 3 can have their moment, but anytime, I'm just saying, a little case study. Anytime you look at a defense and those are the leading coverages there,
they scare boys.
A little suspect.
Yeah, they scared boys. For sure. For sure. Somebody asked me, who dat for life? Chris says, T-Bob, you rooting for my Crimson Tide to win this weekend? Who dat? I want to be painfully clear about this. I would rather slice off my own genitals and jam them down my own throat. I will absolutely not be cheering for Alabama this weekend. No freaking chance. Are you kidding me?
Of the teams that have the opportunity to win a national championship, which one would you like to see win a championship?
Oh, Washington, obviously. Okay. But I feel like I know that they feel unrealistic right now.
Which is crazy. They're undefeated. Hadn't lost in 19
I agree.
games,
But
there's 8 teams.
I mean, I
think
think Michigan would be. I'd be fine with anybody. Like, I just don't want any SEC team to win.
Yeah.
I think Alabama, though, I want to win less than I want Georgia to win. So I'd go Alabama, definitely not. Georgia, definitely not. Pretty much anybody else would be cool with.
Yeah. So
Mario
Michigan,
would choose
Washington.
Texas.
Oh, I would. I really don't want Texas.
No,
to win.
they're SEC now too.
I've had to eat enough crow there where, like, I can't have them somehow end up with a national championship ring. Hell no to Texas as well. Even though, actually, I would go no Alabama, no Texas, then no Georgia. Because Georgia winning another one's just kind of like, yeah, at this point, whatever.
Yeah, maybe Michigan just for the comedic factor. I feel
Well,
like a lot
look,
of people would be salty.
America loves cheaters when you win. Like, we don't care if you get caught cheating if you keep winning. Look at the Astros. Look at Tiger Woods. Look at the Patriots. And Michigan's already kind of done that, right? Like, the sign-stealing crowd lost a lot of juice after they just beat Ohio State. If they go win a national championship, well, all of a sudden then nobody's really going to care that much.
That's probably fair.
You want to hear the funniest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life? Or that's an exaggeration, but
You're building this one up.
Okay, yeah. Tell me more.
Here's what. So Jeff Levy was asked about why Mississippi State was the perfect landing spot for him, and here's what he answered. Quote,
yes.
For a long time, State was a great, cool, awesome place to go to school. Cool is State. Swag is State. He sounds like when somebody's like, hey, do you know Dylan Lee? And I have no idea who Dylan Lee is, but I just want to get out of the conversation. I'm like, yeah. He's cool. He's awesome. He's great. Yeah. Dylan's great. Love him.
Oh, Dylan?
I mean, great, cool, and awesome are the most empty adjectives in the English language. Come on, Jeff.
He's like the college
he's
kid
never been there before,
trying
T.
to fit the word requirement on his essay. It's like, he's cool.
Sure.
This is awesome. First off, if you say whatever is swag in your post in your press conference, that's a fireable offense with cause right there.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, it's not great.
Bigger red flag, that or A&M doing the shoulder thing. I actually like A&M doing the shoulder. They did that in the stadium, and it's awesome, right?
Anything A&M.
Nothing that A&M does is cool.
No.
Not even swag? Wait, no. I got one thing that was cool. The all walk-on kickoff they did that resulted in a fumble. Did you see that? That's badass, dude. You can't be hating on that. They're all about the 12th man. Last week, they had all walk-ons on the kickoff team, and they forced a fumble. Yeah, that's pretty tight.
I can appreciate
the grit.
That's I can appreciate the grit. For sure.
Okay, so there's one cool thing.
And Billy Lucha. We like Billy.
And Billy. Two cool things.
Y'all like Billy.
But then they do blow bubbles at the baseball game. Ugh.
There's a long list of things that we could add to the blowing the bubbles and, taking a little dip in the fountain after a game.
Yeah, just a little dip. I might have to dip into Patient Plus if this crud keeps continuing. Maybe go get like a little cetrizine, some sort of allergy medicine. The point is, though, if you're feeling some crud during this holiday season, you or the family, get better with Patient Plus. They got all the testing you need, COVID, whatever. If you need steroid shots, anything for life's unexpected moments, go into Patient Plus. They are the absolute best. Patient Plus Urgent Care, patientplusuc.com.
Mario just took a shot at Billy, by the way.
Just saying.
Nikki says Rivers wrote that on the instant. He stole it. I don't know what you're talking about, but me and Rivers talked about this yesterday. So take a lap, bruh. When we get back, close an hour or two.
OTB, OT.
Yeah, closing the entire show.
Here we go.
Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. It's a time of year for the Gordon Bike Giveaway. And listen up close if you don't live in Baton Rouge or Hammond, because you need to act now. Gordon's favorite Christmas memory was waking up and seeing a shiny red bike under that tree. He has been trying to recreate that feeling for others, and this year they're giving away a record number 488 bikes. How to win? Follow him on social media at GetGordon, and then go register at GordonGives.com. Now, Jake, if I don't live in Baton Rouge or Hammond, how long do I have left?
You only have 2 days. You have 2 days to get this done. November the 30th, T-Bob. So if you live in the state of Louisiana, Alexandria, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Monroe, Shreveport, That closes on November the 30th. Now, Baton Rouge and Hammond not till December the 7th, but take full advantage of it. Go to the website, GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. Register today at GordonGives.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here. Now, for life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206.
Sandigrove joined me and Jimmy Ott for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Curse Life, Izzy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus, Wheat, potato guys, all the gumbo talk. Y'all mess with me. Rice or potato salad with your gumbo, or both. I go both.
Rice or what?
Potato salad.
Yeah, both.
I didn't eat the potato salad growing up, actually. That was been an adult thing for me when I learned about that, and I absolutely adore the kind of creamy texture that it gives it and the flavor. Yeah, I love it.
I go rice.
Definitely rice.
I mean, I definitely go both, to be clear.
Yeah.
And
if I go
I'll
one or the other,
some,
probably rice. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll eat some without potato salad. I'll eat some bowls without potato salad, just more classic. But Actually, generally, because
So
potato salad
most
ran
people
out.
agree with you about like the creaminess. It's the opposite for me, texture thing. I don't like how soggy it makes a potato salad. It's just not my thing. Like I love potato salad but-
just kind of ceases to exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I like to enjoy mine separately. Like I think
Yeah.
it's good. It tastes fine. It's just
It
just
gets
never hopped on it.
absorbed into the gumbo,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you just have a little bit of potato in there. Asked the bench favorite cold weather dish besides gumbo.
Chili.
Yes. Oh my God! At Rinfest, they normally don't have chili, and they had chili bread bowls.
We
It was
went and
hitting,
got
man.
I'm sure maybe you did it when I was out, a Renfest report.
No, it was awesome. Unfortunately, lines of communication broke down. Didn't get any the behind the scenes stuff I was hoping for, and it was just a weird time. Only got to stay for like 3 hours. Joust was all right. It was. I love it. Still awesome. I did get an awesome pouch to add to my costume.
Did you get any potion bottles?
Well, instead of a potion bottle, I ended up going with a pouch, this beautiful leather and kind of hide pouch with a little clasp that I could keep stuff in, and it's so good. It's
What about
it's awesome.
any good wooden staffs there?
No, the staffs remained awful.
Still?
Yeah, I told you they were going to be. I know the selection's awful every year. Kids got a bunch of cool stuff though.
You need to go to
They make
trade
that money
days in
disappear.
Canton, Texas. Always got good wooden staff.
There you go. You need to go to DraftKings and bet $5 on the NBA with the promo code Baton Rouge right now, and you get $150 in bonus bets instantly. What are you waiting for? DraftKings, $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Gambling problem, code 100-GAMBLER, 100-426-2537. Must be 21 or older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Licensed partner, Golden Lake Charles. Eligibility, deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. We'll see you tomorrow.
OTB, OT.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.